Before reporting on multi-hazard early warning system custom indicators using the Sendai Framework Monitor, it is necessary to make calculations to obtain the indicator scores. To assist countries with these computations, a spreadsheet tool with preset calculations for multi-hazard early warning system custom indicators has been developed. This video will provide an overview of how to use the custom indicator computation worksheet and report indicator scores on the monitor system. If you would like to follow along, download the worksheet at the bottom of the page. For more information on the methodologies for the calculations, you can also download the custom indicators and methodologies for computation guidance document. The computation worksheet consists of 7 tabs. The first tab, named Summary, displays each custom indicator and reports the calculated score with a corresponding color to show relative progress. You will need to enter data into the other tabs before you see the calculated score on the summary spreadsheet. The next tab is called Initial Setup. This section allows you to input up to 25 priority hazards that are relevant for your country. Identification of priority hazards is a very important step in choosing custom indicators and collecting the data required to evaluate them. Priority hazards are those which are considered to present sufficient risk to make the hazard one of national interest. Priority hazards may be primary hazards and/or a secondary hazard that is the result of the initial hazard. For example, tsunamis and fires may be the result of an earthquake, the primary hazard. When selecting your priority hazards, ensure they align to the priority hazards identified in the latest priority hazard list, typically coordinated by the National Disaster Management Office. To select a hazard that is relevant for your country, enter the equal sign in this cell and go to the sheet with the full list of UNDRR classification of hazards. For example, we will select hail as a priority hazard, and when we go back to the initial setup sheet, you will see hail has been added to the list. For all priority hazards that you enter and are applicable to your country, enter 1 in this column to indicate yes, applicable. The rest of the hazards in this column are placeholders for you to add up to 25 priority hazards. Make sure placeholders or hazards not applicable to your country have a 0 in this column to indicate no, not applicable. This section on the worksheet should not be modified as it links to preset calculations. Once you have your priority hazards, we can look at the calculation worksheets. The first calculation sheet, per hazard tab, is for the 25 predefined custom indicators that use true or false data for each priority hazard to calculate a final score. You will see the priority hazards that you identified in the previous sheet, Initial Setup, on this top row. On the left-hand column, you will see all of the predefined custom indicators that require data disaggregated by hazard. For the custom indicator that you would like to calculate a score, enter 1 or 0 to indicate yes or no for each hazard. For example, for indicator 3.1 on monitoring networks established and operational to monitor all priority hazards impacting the country, select yes or no by entering a 1 or 0 for each priority hazard type. The next tab, One-Off Indicators, is for the 28 predefined custom indicators that calculate scores using true-false data, not disaggregated by hazard type. For example, for this indicator 1.1, on number of hazards covered by a strategy agreed by all relevant stakeholders, consider how many hazards this is applicable for. In the initial setup, we had selected 10 priority hazards, so the number entered here will be how many hazards out of 10 priority hazards this is applicable to. For this example, we will say that this indicator is applicable to 7 out of the 10 hazards, so we will enter 7 here. Once you have entered data for predefined custom indicators relevant for your country, You can take a look at the calculation sheet, which includes formulas by which the indicator scores are calculated. You can now go back to the summary sheet and see the final score that is calculated for the two indicators that we entered data for. The color scale shows the progress made on the custom indicator, with green indicating that it is completely met, yellow that it is somewhat met, and red that it is not at all met. Now you are ready to enter data into the Sendai Framework Monitor. Contributors can hover over Custom Targets in the main menu and click on Custom Reporting. Here you will see the custom targets and indicators that your country coordinator has selected. Contributors can enter the value that was calculated using the Custom Indicator computational worksheet. Here for Custom Indicator, monitoring networks established and operational to monitor all priority hazards impacting the country, we will enter the value that we calculated using the computational worksheet. Once you have entered the data, it will automatically be saved. Click on the button Submit Indicator once you are ready for the data to be validated.